All right, guys, thanks again for joining me. This is Cat's Pajamas here for the IGN Pro League Season Number 2 Qualifier bonus coverage. Yes, this is bonus coverage from our qualifier process. We have moved into Qualifier Number 2. This is a round of 128 matchup between our yellow Terran down here at the bottom left-hand corner of Xel'Naga Caverns. He is roxkisBratOK. His opponent from Team Dignitas here in the top right-hand corner is our red Terran player. That is dignitasSjoW. So SjoW versus BratOK. TVT action here. And we'll see what both these players have. Both these players, obviously European players. BratOK has been favoring this style that's 2 racks, reactor first into expansion. That is what he did all through the matches we casted for week number 1 of the qualifiers for a show match I did between him and Desro a little while ago. Obviously Desro a Protoss player, but it's a build that he uses. It's very versatile, uses in a lot of matchups. Now SjoW, on the other hand, is a player that I've seen go a lot of Blue Flame, Hellion, and Mech oriented builds versus Terran players. Not much of a backbone. Well, I don't know, it's weird because at MLG Dallas I saw him go for this pure Marine and Hellion build, cheap units you could throw away and just kind of mass. And then recently I've seen him go for a more mech oriented build, so I'm really curious to see what both these players do. BratOK, I would expect to put up his first guess. Yes, okay, there it is. And when that finishes, if he's doing the same build that I've seen him do quite a bit, then he's going to go ahead and go into, he's just going to put 2 SCVs on gas there. We'll find out, though. That'll be done here in a bit. SjoW just about to finish up his refinery, done a little bit before his opponents. Both players are about even on supply, though. Looks like that was a 14 refinery finished with that next SCV coming out. We'll see how many workers he puts on it. Just a second for the time being. Okay, so just 2 on gas here. It looks like this is going to be the same as his reactor first build that he's been using under a lot of circumstances. There we go. There's barracks number 2 coming down. And this Marine will coincide nicely with the amount of gas required. Oh, looks like he's going to put up a second here. He's going to try and stop SjoW's scout. But SjoW is going to make his way through. Scout old BratOK's base. SjoW, on the other hand, he does have a reactor coming up first of his own. No second barracks down yet, so this is just a reactor barracks expand build. BratOK throwing down reactor first. Second barracks will get a tech lab. And then he will, it kind of depends on what he wants to do. It depends on what he scouts. If he sees, for example, it looks like there's a Hellion build or something along those lines, he'll just do Marauders. If it looks like he has the opportunity to do some early damage, he'll go into Reapers. It's pretty versatile. It looks like SjoW is putting up a command center, so he is going to have a little bit of an advantage in terms of the speed of his expansion, but of course that kind of plays into BratOK's build. BratOK loves, and looks like this is going to be a Reaper build. He intentionally sits back and takes his expansion a little bit later, but then because of the economic damage he can do at the early game, ends up working out pretty well for him. Although SjoW with his reactor and Marines should be in a good enough position to hold off quite a bit of units coming out for BratOK. This BratOK is going to have to reinforce all the way across the map, and it is a pretty long walk distance. Let's see here. Expansion just about to finish up for SjoW. Expansion just started for BratOK, but of course he is building that in as natural, where SjoW's going to have to float that over. So the timing of these 2 expansions is not actually going to be all that different. So here comes SjoW making his way in. This SCV for BratOK should see that big old force moving down, and he does indeed move away his SCV. So SjoW sees those units running away. Let's see if he makes his way over to the other Xel'Naga tower. If he does, maybe in for a little bit of a nasty shock. We have 6 Marines against 6 Marines and a Reaper, and this Reaper should be enough to clear off the rest. Indeed it will. It can actually catch up to those Marines and pick them off one by one. Looks like SjoW moves and tries to pick off the Reaper, but loses all of his Marines. That is a huge loss. Double Reaper up now, and SjoW, I don't know if he has enough units to defend against this attack. This is going to be pretty close. So BratOK is going to flank with 1 Reaper, get vision on the high ground. There's actually both Reapers making their way up. Couple of Marines have been shot. Now BratOK needs to make his way in and do some damage to the attacking units. He is taking out so many SCVs, though. Marines falling down left and right as well. Finally, the Reapers go down. BratOK does get repelled. SjoW does hold. What cost, though? How many workers were killed? 5 of them. That's actually a significant difference here at this stage of the game. BratOK does have the economic lead. And let's see, he is also putting down his orbital commands. He's already transferred his SCVs over to it. So his expansion has already been, even though SjoW was able to call down 1 extra mule, you know, BratOK's expansion wasn't exactly all that far behind. In fact, I wouldn't even say it was behind at all. He's simply lost 1 mule difference, but he's already transferred his SCVs for better efficiency in mining. So SjoW putting up 2 more barracks and a starport. Heavy bio build coming out of him. BratOK only putting up his next factory, so he is behind in unit-producing structures. And quite a bit behind in tech as well. Only combat shields have been researched. There we go, there's Stimpack. That's what I was waiting for. Marine going to make his way through. Poor SCV is going to have to get himself away. He does. SjoW now has complete control of the Xel'Naga Towers. And he's just going after mass Marines here. So let's see. He's got a number of barracks up. 4, as a matter of fact. 1 with the reactor, 1 with the tech lab. Does the tech switch there, so we are going to see some good old-fashioned medevacs here in a second. And as soon as he decides to put those up, of course, there's 200, 200. He could put up 2 at the same time. He does not. So SjoW stemmed in, took a look around, didn't like what he saw, decided to leave. BratOK is still up by the same amount of workers that he killed before, so he is doing just fine economy-wise. In fact, we see that he does have a mining advantage, mining the same amount of minerals, but has a little bit more gas. And SjoW going to have to run away. Unfortunately, his unit was killed. Free kill for that Marine. And let's see now. There is a reactor down for BratOK as well, so he's going to be able to put up his medevacs. Medevacs coming up now. SjoW doing the same thing. Big standoff here for the time being. Looks like BratOK, he has a lead in economy, but he has a lot of minerals floated. I don't know if this is going to become another base, or if he's just going to put down more unit-producing structure. He's got to unsupply block himself first. And he is. Another couple of supply depots coming down. Okay, so let's see here. +1 armor is coming up now for BratOK, so he's going to have very well upgraded Marines. Destructible rock should fall pretty soon. Marines here for SjoW are on 0-0. Stim is finished, and they're just about to finish combat shield, but SjoW will be behind on upgrades. And it looks like we have a few units fighting each other here. Fighting! SjoW almost loses his Marine. Finishes combat shield. I was wondering why he just jumped from 3 to 13 hit points there. Tricking me out for a second. And it looks like here comes BratOK. He's going to force a cancel on the command center. And SjoW was doing a big drop. Uh-oh, we may have a little bit of a base trade. Looks like BratOK is putting up a siege tank with siege mode. There's the stim. Makes his way in. And BratOK going to be able to kill quite a few of these units. SjoW stims up again. BratOK is still just on 0-1 upgrades, but SjoW is on 0-0. Oh no, and he's not attacking with these SCVs. He's so worried about his drop. He didn't attack with his SCVs at all. That is devastating for SjoW. Not saying he would have broken through and won, but it certainly would have helped him mitigate the damage. He calls GG. SjoW has left the game. BratOK takes game number 1 in this epic TVT showdown here. So congratulations to him. We're going to head into game number 2. Guys, this is CatsPajamas. You don't go anywhere. Game number 2 coming back in just a second.